Hey, everybody, it's Reggie with Lawyer Interviews. And today I am so honored. We are getting to talk to Sheree Wright, who is an attorney out of Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Sheree. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. And also, Sheree, just to give everyone a background, you have an amazing social media following on Instagram, and you practice immigration, business, entertainment law. Can you kind of give everyone out there listening an idea as to the different areas you practice?
So yes, my main practice is immigration, and then we do personal injury. I also do a lot of sports law because I went to school for sports law and business. So I work with athletes, local athletes in Arizona, and I just do a lot of contract negotiations in terms of sponsorships and so forth. And then we're full service law firm basically, so we test the waters a lot.
I love it. I love it. Well, okay. Well, I've got to ask some sports questions really fast. There's been some interesting development in the sports world recently with college athletes being able to, finally monetize or get some profits out of what schools used to get. Have you had any kind of dealing with clients regarding this new law?
Yes, well, it's not really the new it's not a new law yet,
Right,
but
right,
there are lawsuits that their lawsuit has been filed
right,
to allow them to like reach employee status. What's
right,
tricky is I don't know if there's a lawsuit almost every year of the same nature, and it
right,
never goes anywhere. So hopefully there's some change in the near future, and it affects a lot of student athletes, of course, especially new athletes that are going in right now for the new
right.
season. So I hopefully it works out. They should get paid because like the schools profit so much, the universities profit so much from like ticket sales, their amateur status. So they should get some money. They should get some.
Yeah. And a lot of them are putting, depending on the sport, their bodies at risk. I always think about football, for instance, and, the concussion risks, the breaking, contact sports. And
Absolutely,
they should get some money for this other than a scholarship and maybe, room and board. But,
absolutely.
an interesting area. So it's kind of interesting to hear your perspective on it. Another thing that I think is so interesting about your account and just your work is you are huge in the advocacy area as well, and especially for people of color and for rights and for Black people in America who've had a very, very interesting last 5 years, I will say. I'd love you to talk a little bit about your work in advocacy and how you got involved and what it's like being an attorney involved in advocacy as a Black woman.
Well, first being a Black woman and being so young and being an attorney and also an immigrant. I was born in Jamaica, so I'm definitely an immigrant too. I just became a citizen 2 years ago.
Well,
So
congratulations.
thank you. So it's just hard. It's not easy. And because I've gone through so much as a person of color, I just fight for the rights of individuals of color. And not to say that, I mean, I love everyone from every walk of life. I just know that my support is needed in that area right now. And I try I'm all about equality. I love justice. It was inevitable for me to be an attorney because I knew that um fighting for people and fighting for the underserved and individuals, they need it. I mean, they need a voice, and I want to be that voice. And even it's not easy, because when you're fighting for something that so many people are against, you will get that same fight back too. So
Right.
I get a lot of pushback, but I still keep going, and it's just in my nature to just fight for human rights. I love people. I love everything. Like I love animals. I'm a humanitarian, so
Love
it
it.
works out, yeah.
I love it. And I'm sure too for your clients, especially this is really neat. I didn't know that you had immigrated. I mean, how wonderful is it for your clients to be able to look to you not only as an attorney but someone who's been through the process? Do you share that with them when you're talking to them about coming over and getting legalized status and everything?
Yes, especially so I'm in Arizona, so most of like I'd say about 85 to 90% of my clients were Hispanic because
Mhm.
Arizona's like it's close to the border.
Right.
And I always explain to them like I'm here for you. I've been there. Yes, I mean, my processes was a little easier, but I also had to become a permanent resident, had a green card, and then became a citizen.
Right.
And I had to do all of that. I came from a different country. I came from a third world country, so I understand the process. I understand how hard it is to not be documented, fully documented and do it. And it's hard to do it the right way.
Right.
So I understand, and I empathize with them, and I always tell my story, and it always makes it, because as lawyers we tend to, our clients look at us and they're kind of nervous, so it humanizes me to them. It makes me human. It makes me relatable, and so they love that, and that's why my clients. That's why I do what I do, because it it's needed, and I've been there, and I have family members who've been there, and so I want to fill that gap, and that's what I'm doing here in Arizona, because so many people here in Arizona are undocumented, and
Right.
they don't even know that what to do. So I like that a lot.
I love that too. I dealt with a few family members who've had immigration cases, and a lot of times, they come into the country and they think, I don't have any rights. I can't do anything. I have no resources or recourse here because of my status, which is just not the case. And I think it's so great to have someone who's been through it to say, no, look, I've done it. Here's what we do. And I can't imagine the kind of invaluable service that is to your clients. It just,
Yeah, like for example, my cleaning lady, she's been my cleaning lady for 4 years, and she had no idea that I was an immigration attorney. And she all this time she's been undocumented, until another lawyer who she also cleans her house. She's like, um, have you talked to Sheree? And she's like, I didn't even know she was an immigration lawyer. She's like, and she's like, you don't see her like diplomas in her house, or you don't see her business cards. And she didn't, and now, yes, 2 days ago, she became a green card holder, 10 years.
oh,
And so it made me so happy that I'm the one who represented her. She's been like, she's like my mom away from my mom.
yeah.
She's so lovely, my cleaning lady. She's amazing. And for me to be able to do that for her, it felt so rewarding. Like it was just so rewarding. So yeah.
Tony. And that does have to be rewarding to see someone's life change so substantially, and for them to be able to have more rights and to be able to have more, legal power behind them, versus not being here a little bit undocumented. So I love that. That's really cool. I have a few questions for you about the last few years. Obviously, last 5 plus 6 years in the US have been very interesting for immigration. How has it changed your practice?
Well, I mean, the business comes in, it comes in, that's good. But also, sorry, my balloons are like,
By
um,
the way, everyone, it's Sheree's birthday, so we need to wish her happy birthday. She's no older than 19. She's just young spring chicken here. Happy birthday, by the way.
thank you so much. Yeah, it's been hard. Immigration policies are changing daily,
Mhm.
and it's really stressful. So I've had to up my staff, because the support staff is needed, and the cases keep coming in. That's good. Business is booming, but
Right.
it's also very stressful, because we've gone through so much as immigration attorneys. I always like this. There's an account called Burnt Out Immigration Attorney on Instagram, and I
Mhm.
totally relate to them. And not that I don't, I love lawyer issues too. I relate to them a lot.
Right.
Uh, but it has been stressful, because the policies are changing daily. And under this administration, it hasn't even gotten any better.
Right.
So it's still the same. I mean, it's probably even worse. And I
Totally.
wouldn't have expected that. Yeah,
Right.
it's absolutely worse. Children are still in cages, basically. People, unfortunately, parents are still sending their children alone, unaccompanied, um, by themselves, crossing the border. Some kids are. It's just so sad. And those things kind of like it breaks you, and it breaks the strongest person, because like these are kids that are babies, little girls. You have no idea what you're doing and putting your child in that situation. You don't
Right.
know what happened to your child. What happens to those kids when they're crossing the border? Who's protecting them? And those are the things that it breaks you. It
Right.
breaks you. Yeah.
I'm sure it's prime for exploitation of these, individuals are just seeking a better life or a different life from where they're from. And I'm sure that there are, people exploiting that in various ways, financially, sexually, a lot of different, ways. And like you said, it would break the strongest person, and it's just horrific. It's horrific.
It is.
Um, so tell me a little bit more about, I mean, did you expect the immigration laws to change substantially given, the new administration's promises during the election? So I'm guessing that kind of surprises you that stuff has not changed substantially.
It hasn't changed at all. And it's so shocking because like I actually volunteered in the election and because I wanted a change. But I believe that that change has not happened.
Mhm.
There's, for example, I have one of my biggest cases is against the University of Farmington, where ICE kind of like created fake universities, and it happened under the Trump administration. And the administration now lashed out against that, saying that they should drop the lawsuit. But this administration now has backtracked, and what they have gone and said is that the lawsuit still should still continue and so forth. But that was never the case. They were promising something so different and something so new. And I think we were all very excited for newness and change, and that change hasn't happened yet. And
Right.
I'm very disappointed to some extent. Yeah.
Right. I mean, are there any new policies out there that excite you that you think that could be helpful for immigration? Or do you just think that it's an issue that's not as important to this administration, so they're not focusing on it?
They're focusing on it, like they're fighting it. It's a fight, it has to, the bills have to pass, it has to go through and so forth. So I see that they're making some steps to change. There's a thing that's going to come in place, it's amnesty, which will grant permanent status to individuals who are undocumented and have children, US citizen children in the US. So that's something to look forward to. I'm hopeful that that will happen, and the laws will change, and I'm very hopeful. And all you have to do is keep the hope, because the people are depending on your hope. So I just have to keep my faith and keep hope alive that it does happen.
Yes, and your advocacy and speaking up about it, and what a big issue. I mean, amnesty is such an interesting topic too, because you think about these children, and this is their only home that they've known, and just because of the legal status of their parents, it's like you're going to rip them away from their only home for which they've known and send them back to a country that they don't know. That's heartbreaking in its own right. And I really hope the same thing too. Like, I have hope for that as well, because it's just not fair.
Yeah,
You
you're
have
so
justice,
right.
the letter of the law, and like the spirit of the law, and give me, you're tired, you're poor. And I love that
You
hope.
are so right. Yes. Yeah.
So, and I'd love to talk to you also, on lawyer interviews, I'd love to talk to you about what it's like to be a woman, but also a woman of color in the legal industry, because I've talked to a few women about, it's not easy. It's not easy being a woman, first off, in legal industry. It's still very much a um, white-haired man run field, which is fine. But, women are starting to pop up more and more. I know that there are more than half of law students now are women, which is fantastic, but it's kind of slow to change. It's management and treatment of women. I want to know what that's like for you as a woman of color.
Well, first, I would say that just being a woman alone in the legal field is hard.
Right.
It's so empowering to see you as an attorney. You're a beautiful woman, and it's so empowering to see that you have your brains behind you and you're an attorney. Because as women alone, we get the hardest fight, especially from our male counterparts. It's like we don't belong there. Our place is in the house. Our place is to be Debbie homemaker or something. So when it comes to being a woman, first of all, I applaud all my female attorneys. No matter race, creed, national origin, whatever the case is, I applaud you guys. It's not easy. But then when it comes to being a Black woman of color, it's very hard. I've been asked, am I the assistant? Am I the paralegal? And it's kind of degrading. And so, but I know who I am. and I know that I've worked really hard to get where I am, and I work really hard, and I am very smart. I accept that, and I'm not going to let anyone dim my light. So I will keep going and keep moving forward because I'm no person that made the sacrifice. I'm the one that made the sacrifice. No matter if I'm a woman or whatever the case might be, we deserve to be treated equally. We deserve to be respected, and I know my worth, and I'm never going to let anyone dim that light, even though it's hard. It's everything is hard in life. Nothing is ever easy, and anything easy is not worth it. And
Right.
so it's not worth it at all. So when it comes to just seeing and empowering my female counterparts, regardless of race, and when and also my African American female counterparts, it you can still do it. It's even though it's hard, I don't let that dictate or determine my efforts, my strength, my power, and my will. It just propels me to go even harder and work even, work for work the best, do the best, and be the best, because you're always going to get a fight in life, always.
I love that mentality. I think it's so strong to lighting a fire under you to keep going even harder and push harder because otherwise the other alternative is nothing changes. And I think it's attorneys like you out there who inspire the next generation of women and women attorneys, but women, of color who want to go into the legal field and be attorneys, to not just sit there and go, okay, I'll sit in my place. No, like keep going forward and light the fire and keep being successful, because obviously, your voice is so powerful out there. You've got so many followers out there that love your content, and a lot of it is advocacy, but a lot of it is also showing how successful you've become in your career from determination, hard work, and not giving up. When I'm sure that there were probably moments for you when it would have been easier to give up. For me, there were.
I
so,
mean, you are so right. You are absolutely right. Absolutely. Right.
so I would love to know too about, entertainment law. So tell me a little bit about some of the cases you handle in that area.
So yes, I went to school. I went to ASU for sports law and business, Arizona State University, the law school there for sports law and business. And it's just I've always been a season ticket holder for the Phoenix Suns,
Okay.
and since 2017. And so it just everything aligned itself after a while because people see you working hard, and I love basketball. I was literally at the basketball game last night, and we
Oh,
have close, yeah, we have close to floor seats, and so
fun.
they've seen my work. They've seen my work. The players have seen my work. Athletes have seen my work. They've seen me, and they know that I'm a hard worker. And I was approached by one athlete, and he was like, "I see you, and I see that you work hard. So I want you to help me with the sponsorship negotiation." And that's how it all started. And it has just been that's been it, and it's just started from there. I mean, growing up, I was a model as well. So I
I'm not
always
surprised. You're beautiful. So I am not surprised you're a model.
so are you. So are you. So are you. You're absolutely beautiful. So I always wanted to be, obviously my parents were like, you have to quit now. And it's time to get serious about education. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to law school. And so I had to leave that behind. But that I always had that entertainment spirit in me. And I always wanted to be a part of the industry. And not because of like, I don't want notoriety or I don't want that, but it's just that that's where I've always been since I was younger. And I like it there. And I dabble into a little sports law, and I do a lot of contract negotiations, and that's it.
That's awesome. I think that's so fun. I think that's such an interesting area of law. And I'm sure once you get in, it's a lot of word of mouth because, a lot of people want to keep their NDAs and privacy when regarding deals they're negotiating. But it's really cool once you've got your in, and they get to know you. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I enjoy the games, and I love going to the football games and the basketball games. And I
Were
just
you
love
a huge ASU fan then?
I am. I'm actually am. And I'm also a huge Suns fan. They're actually killing it right now. I
Yeah.
am so proud of them. Like
Are.
when I first became a season ticket holder, they weren't doing well at all. And
Right.
I still, I still kept my faith and I said, all right, I'm going to keep supporting them regardless of anything, good, bad, or ugly. I love it. And look, they've just like taken over. They're doing so well. And I'm so proud.
They are in the division, absolutely. And hey, you're not a fair weather fan. You stick with them through thick and thin.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. I love my sons. I love the sons. I love them. They're doing amazing. And they're so young. And they're a young team and they're just killing it. And I'm so proud.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And I think it's fun too to have a woman in entertainment, especially that, entertainment and sports law that understands the sports too. I think sometimes that women get a bad rap for like not understanding sports or not being into, like I love college football, college. So we're in the same conference, Pac-12, because I was at University of Utah. So
Oh,
so
yes. Yes.
so I love football, so I think it's so awesome to have a woman that is, representing athletes, sponsorship deals, because, sometimes they're like, you like football? Like, yeah, I love football. Like, I love sports. Like,
I love it.
yeah.
And then as a woman, and I'm such a girly girl too. So it always catches people off guard, like, what?
Like, you can't like makeup and sports. Like,
Yes,
you can't like fashion and sports. That's just too weird, right?
yes, exactly. But it works, right?
It does. It does.
Yeah, yeah.
So another question I've got for you is, I see people reach out all the time on your Insta. You've got a lot of young up and coming students, law students, people even in high school or undergrad that look to you as a mentor. Do you reach out to these individuals if they message you? Do you mentor these people? How does that work?
Yes, I am not untouchable. They reach out to me all the time and I respond. I'm quick to respond to my DMs, my messages. And when it comes to young women and young males, I support them. I mean, there have been people who've like messaged me like, I'm looking for an internship. Can I intern at your law firm? And I'm like, yeah, apply, come in for an interview, and let's see how this works. And they always reach out to me. Obviously, we need that. I can't take everyone, but I encourage all young students or aspiring lawyers or young law students right now to keep going. It's not easy. Nothing is ever easy, and anything that's easy is not worth it. So keep going. It's hard. Law school is hard. Studying for the bar exam is hard. Everything is hard, but it's worth it in the end because I feel I'm of the belief that if you have the the ambition to be an attorney, there's something more to you. That means that you want to fight for your rights. There's something about you that you have you're about justice and fairness. And I respect anyone that's in law school, that's aspiring to be an attorney, and just anyone that's aspiring to do anything great in life. I respect it. I love the hustle. I love to see the hustle and just keep grinding, keep
Absolutely.
grinding. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is. I've watched a few either TikToks or Instagram videos and where people, say, oh, I'm not smart enough to go to law school. I think, you know what? It is not a smarts game. It's a determination game.
That is correct.
It's a long haul game. If you are determined and you've got that grit,
Yes.
you will be okay. You can do this. There's a lot of people that I never thought I would. I grew up in a very, poor economic household growing up, single mom. And I thought there was no way that I'd go to law school, and ended up doing it. And anyone, given some help and circumstances, I think that if you've got that determination, go for it. Go for it. And you are an immigrant coming in and going to law school, and also a woman of color who had, let's be honest, cards stacked against you many ways. And look what you've done. I think it's fantastic.
I mean, perfectly said. You said it. You said it perfectly.
Well, thank you. Well, another question for you too is, look, girl, I'm a huge fan of your fashion too. So I love like, so when you're like, I'm a model, I'm like, well, that does not surprise me because you've got some like real good fashion on your Instagram. And I love how you've incorporated that with law. So tell me how important, fashion, makeup, all of that has been, and what the interesting dynamic that is with being a female lawyer.
I know it makes me happy. I love fashion. I love brand. I'm like a brand And it's not appropriate to say, but I love brand. Um, and but it also makes me happy. And growing up, I've modeled for like the Gap. Elite. I modeled for Elite Model Management, so it was a very high fashion, and it's always been something that I love. My mom is also she loves fashion, and so I grew up with it. And I if I don't look good, then I don't feel good. And
Yeah,
if I don't feel good, then my products and my work product is not good. So
right.
once I take care of me and do what's good, the best for me, and buy my Balenciagas and buy my Dior and my Louis Vuitton, then everyone's happy because I work better, I'm happier. I just love fashion, and I'm not gonna let that stop me. I don't want that perception as we as women, if we're lawyers and we have to be a certain way, we have to like, not keep ourselves up, or I love my bikinis. I love taking pictures on the beach. I love posting them. And that doesn't mean anything less. It doesn't mean that I'm any less and I'm not smart enough, and I can't do my work, because my work speaks for itself. Because
Right.
everyone always has this perception as, oh, you're in your bikini and you're posting it on Instagram and you're doing this and you're doing that. I'm just like, yes, I do that. And I also work very hard, and I work hard for my body. I work hard for I'm with my personal trainer, and I want to show it off, and I'm going to do that. And nothing's going to stop me. And I don't care if you guys look at my Instagram and think different, because my work speaks for itself. My clients are happy, and I'm winning cases, and I'm getting my clients money, and it all works out.
I completely agree. And I think it's an interesting dynamic that men just in the legal field, at least I've never even heard a man describe this. They don't deal with that. It's like if you're in makeup or if you're in, a swimsuit or something, it's like, well, you can't be a lawyer and swim on the beach. Like, what, do we exist in like this vacuum? Like, no, you need to sit in your box and
Yeah,
it's so
no.
interesting. It's such a unique thing for women, but it happens all the time. So I love hearing your story because it's so true. It's like, well, you look like this, you can't be a lawyer. It's like, no, yes, I can. And actually, like you said, my work speaks for itself. It's okay.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm happy. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have another question for you because I think you would be fantastic. Have you ever had any ambitions of maybe running for politics one day?
yes, I do. I actually do. Yes, yes.
Any kind of position you're thinking? Are you thinking state, federal? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna start out with the state and then probably move on to federal, because it's always best to start low and then go high. But I do have my ambitions to be in politics someday. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think you would be an amazing voice for a lot of people. And especially in Arizona, I think that you would just rock it. So I would love to see that happen. So you'll have to keep us posted anyway.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
And I'd love to ask if you've got any neat stories, whether they're immigration, entertainment, sports, that you wouldn't mind sharing with us, a cool client experience that to leave our viewers with. We'd love to know.
Well, it's my cleaning lady. It just happened, and it's just I'm so happy. It's just that she's been undocumented for 14 years. She hasn't seen her family in Mexico for 14 years. Every attorney that she's gone to has told her she's got to go back, and she's going to be subject to a 10-year ban. And I made it happen for her. 2 days ago, she came by and picked up her green card. And it just makes me happy, because she is more than my cleaning lady. She's like family to me. I've known her for 4 years, and I had no idea that she was going through this entire time, because she's always had such a good energy. She's so positive. She's so loving. I would have never thought that she would be in that situation. And when I found out, I quickly moved on it. And she spent over $15,000 for attorneys to tell her that there's no hope for her. And she came to me, and then all of a sudden it worked out, and she's a green card holder, and she's, 5 years she'll become a US citizen. So that just makes me happy. That's just like someone so close to me that I've like made it happen for. And it gives me so much joy to know that she's all right now.
That's amazing. It's such an amazing. I can't imagine not seeing your family for 14 years and being told there's no way. If you go back, you're done.
Yeah,
It's essentially, right? 10 years, another 10 years. What an amazing story. And
exactly.
you just changed this woman's life. And I think that's something that lawyers, sometimes you miss like how important and fundamental that is for clients and how important the work is. But hearing stories like that really inspire me even. I mean, I don't deal with immigration, but it's like, do the best for your clients because this is their life.
It's their life. It's their life. And she never gave up either. At least she tried one more time and
Yeah.
she trusted me at the end because I would never, after spending like $15,000 and being told there's nothing that you can do, I would have just said, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. There's no way.
Right.
Um, and she took a chance with me and it worked out.
Well, I'm glad she did. And I'm sure she's thrilled she did as well. One last shot, right?
Gosh, I love her. I love her.
That's,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and Sheree, happy birthday. And thank you for joining us on your birthday. So, you're young 19 or, 22, whatever you want to be. We'll just stay that age in our 20s. There you go.
Thank you,
Very
Reggie.
genius child, that went through law school at like 16.
Yeah, exactly. I just started early.
I'd love for you to tell everyone where they can follow you on whichever platforms you'd like to share. And then we will throw up through post editing those handles as well.
Wonderful. Well, you can find me on my personal page on Instagram, Sheree Devana. And then you can find my law firm at IBF Law Group on Instagram. Our website is www.ibflaw.com. And we're here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we're downtown Phoenix. Come hang out with us and meet us. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Sheree, thank you so much. And everyone, thanks for watching Lawyer Interviews. This is Reggie, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Reggie.